All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out the banned and restricted card edition notice update for March 15th, 2024. This is the same day as me recording this video. This is coming out, that this notice came out. And it's the same thing. Just to give you guys a quick, spoiler, it's the same cards, but they finally gave us a date and they gave us some logic behind why they're doing it. So these cards, you guys know what you're getting into now. We're gonna hop right into it. These cards are going to be banned as of June 21st, which is probably when OP07 is going to come out. First up is the leader. I'm going to try and read through this. I have read through these, and the English is actually very hard to go through. I think it feels like it's broken English in some ways, but y'all bear with me as I read through this. Okay, so this card's effect allows players to draw cards with little risk, making the ideal game plan centered around this card easily replicable. Its reliability is a strength that sets it apart from other leaders, especially in tournaments. In addition, the blue and black color combination affords highly flexible effects, with black serving to lower cost and blue removing character cards at the bottom of the deck. Which is, I think that's the main problem right there, the bottom decking, specifically on one card, being Houndblaze, but I'll talk about that in a second. The result is a deck that is more powerful than expected, leading to one-sided battles that ignore the use of the trash, on-KO effects, and other game mechanics. This card has a higher win rate and usage rate than other cards due to its powerful removal ability. Like, what removal ability? Reliability and minimal risk, and significantly impairs the enjoyment of fundamental aspects of the one-piece card game, the back and forth of attack and defense between characters, and the ability to choose from a variety of leaders. That was like just one massive run-on sentence. This card has a higher win rate and usage rate than other cards due to its powerful removal ability, reliability, and minimal risk, period. It also significantly impairs the enjoyment of fundamental aspects of the one-piece card game. That being the back and forth of attack and defense between characters and the ability to choose from a variety of leaders. We have therefore decided, we have therefore decided to designate this card as a banned card. Okay. A few things I take issue with is like just how this is just wrong. This card right here, due to its powerful removal ability, this card doesn't have removal ability, right? For those who don't know what this leader does, it can -1 cost and it can cycle a card. That's it. There is no removal. It does benefit. It does help you with removal with the -1, and that's. I'm just going to segue it straight into that. I think that's what this. I think that's what they should have done. They should have eroded this card where you only get to choose one of the effects, and I think that's it. And I think the cards that should have been banned were not Great Eruption. Reject, I'm fine with. I'll talk about that in a second. But I think they should have got rid of Houndblaze. Houndblaze is just. It's the card. I mean, that is the card that people are abusing. Like, we just have to be honest. Because otherwise, Rob Lucci, I guess you could say, it can be abused through a card like Great Eruption. But realistically, being able to go turn 1 Tashigi or Brand New now, turn 1 Brand New or Tashigi, and then turn 2, like, you search for your Great Eruption, by the way. Or, excuse me, not your Great Eruption, your Houndblaze. And then the next turn you swing, because the most they can have, is it should be a 3, right? The biggest character they should have next turn is a 3 or a 4. Well, that's when you swing it with your leader if it's a 3, and then you can Houndblaze it off the board and swing with your character that you just played. It's just so powerful. Yeah, the most they could have is a 3, if I'm doing that correctly. Because if you went first, then they have 2 Dawn, and then you go, and that's when you can do the combo I just said. Then, if you went second, they went first. They're on 1 Dawn. You get to 2. They get to 3, and now you're at 4. Yeah. So the biggest they could get is actually a 3 cost, and then you could just swing with your leader and still use your Houndblaze. It just completely gets around it. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. My allergies are absolutely insane right now. But going back to the card here, I'm not a big fan of the Sakazuki ban. I think this leader was a little too strong. It needed to be tweaked a little bit. Like I said, I think you need to have to choose one, just like Verona has to choose one, and maybe limit it like they were saying in the card they're replacing this with. We're not going to talk about, but the effect on the new card allowed you to trash a Navy card specifically, just to do a -1 cost for the turn. Now, again, I don't think that's how it should be. I think it should be a cycle card, but it has to be a Navy card you cycle, and that draws you a card for the turn. But you have to choose one or the other. You can't just do both anymore. I think that's how it should have been. Like you can either attack to -1 to a character, or trash a Navy card to draw a new card. That's what I think personally. And then I think a card that should have been considered for banned or at least restricted is Houndblaze, not Great Eruption, which we're going to talk about now. And y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. So next up is Great Eruption. This says, while many other cards reduce cost in a way similar to this card, this is the only card that can reduce cost without consuming any cards in the player's hand or imposing any conditions, making it powerful in every stage of the game. We have determined that this card significantly lowers the risk involved in removal for decks containing black cards. How is that an issue, by the way? Because only black has black's the deck that's losing cards for using removal. They're trashing cards just to do removal. I don't understand how this is an issue. We have determined that this card significantly lowers the risk involved in removal for decks containing black cards. I think they're probably saying like in combination with other colors. That's got to be what they're trying to say, I think. So given the very high usage rate and win rate of decks that include black cards, and the fact that this card has the highest usage rate among cards that reduce cost, we have decided to designate this card as a banned card. So again, this will just lead to players using Tempest Kick in OP07, and I don't think there will be any difference. Because I've even talked to people about this. Like, okay, number one, Lucci can -1 cost to a character for the turn, just like Sakazuki can currently, and he gets to trash 2 cards from his deck, the top of his deck. So there's the -1 where I can hit anything that's a 3 or lower with something like a Meteor, Volcano, or whatever you choose to run, and you're filling your trash. And then you're going to have Tempest Kick. You'll still be able to play Tempest Kick out and draw a card, because for those who don't know, and I'm not going to bring it up right now, Tempest Kick is a new card coming out in OP02. Or OP07. It's a 1-cost card that draws a card that does -3 this turn. And the trigger's arguably better because it KOs a 3 or less. But who cares about the trigger? It's a 1-cost draw 1 that -3 if you have 10 cards in your trash. And guys, you can look up games of Rob Lucci, the new OP07 Lucci, guys, not the old one from OP02 or 3, I can't remember where it's from. Not the old Lucci, the new Lucci coming out in OP07. They're able to very easily get 10 cards in their trash, and now they have a 1-cost Great Eruption. And early on, like I said, it's not like they actually need it, but they'll still be running Ice Age if they do need it. It's I don't know. I get it. I get that this card can be used right on turn 1 to draw a card at -2 cost, but you can't do anything with that. If I go turn 1, draw a card and -2 to your defender, I have 1 Dawn left. There's nothing left I can do. And it goes back to the example I was saying up here with Sakazuki the leader. Being able to attack for -1 is already to do the main thing you needed for Great Eruption to get something in range. I don't know. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I am completely against this ban. That's all I can tell you guys. I do not think this card should have been banned. If you do, that's fine. Tell me down in the comment section below. Just please keep it respectful. I was completely against this card being banned. Okay, next up is Reject. Okay, so the deal 1 damage to your opponent effect of this card greatly improves the ability of decks containing yellow cards, which often feature trigger effects, to deal finishing blows. So do you see how they accidentally... that was like a Freudian slip. The deal 1 damage to your opponent effect of this card greatly improves the ability of decks containing yellow cards, which often feature trigger effects, to deal finishing blows. Well, it doesn't matter, because you're not dealing 1 damage to yourself. If you guys can't read it, let me try to zoom in on it. Look, it says if your opponent has 1 life, deal 1 damage to your opponent, and then add 1 card from the top of your life to your hand. It's not like you're it's not like you're going to deal damage to yourself and create a trigger character. They just have this mixed up. This is like a moot point here, but it does help deal finishing blows. That part's correct. It thereby makes these decks harder to deal with than expected, and significantly boosts their win rate. Okay, so now I see they're tying back that first point. Now it's starting to make sense. In addition, we are concerned that the cost of dealing 1 damage via this effect is low, and the ability to easily ignore offensive and defensive plays causes more stress for players than expected. So we have decided to designate this card as banned. So I already talked about this card. I do think it should be banned. It was too good all around. It's good in draft, and it's good in constructed. It's good in any deck that splashes yellow, because for 4 you're removing your opponent's last life card. It's just that simple. Or earlier in the game if you need to, or if they have a blocker in the way, you can just KO it. You know, and then trigger draw card, that's whatever. But this card was just absolutely overtuned. I don't even want to say it's broken. I just think it's way overtuned. And I don't think this is something that One Piece is ready for, a card like this yet. Who knows? Maybe it never will be. But I liked the idea of the card. It was a really cool card, but it's a little too strong. A little bit too strong. Okay, so that's it. Everything else, of course, Moby Dick and Kabaji are still banned. That's probably not going to change for the foreseeable future. But you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I told y'all what I think. I was just to recap, you know, just to summarize or conclude. I do not think Sakazuki should have been banned. I think this is a bad move. I think it's a bad look for the game too. But at the same time, I get it. It was everywhere, right? Like everyone was playing Sakazuki. I'm interested to see what kind of effect it has on the meta in OP07. Because remember, for OP06, we're still going to be playing this card. We will be playing Sakazuki for the rest of OP06. And that's one thing I want to ask too. Do you guys think that the ban should have been sooner or not at all? Or is it perfect right where it's at? You know, you guys tell me what y'all think there. But yeah, Sakazuki here, I think they should have treated this like Perota, where you have to choose one of the effects and limit the cycling abilities to trash one Navy card to draw a card. Or, I mean, maybe they could have even made it even more restricted, where it's like trash a Navy card, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a Navy card, put it in your hand. Otherwise, put it at the bottom of your deck. Or maybe in your trash if they're okay with that. Something along those lines. Maybe that fills the trash too fast. Y'all get my point. I'm just trying to say I wish there was a better way they could have dealt with this. Me personally, I'm completely against the Great Eruption ban. That's just me. I don't know if there's going to be any way to convince me otherwise. Because, like I said, a deck coming out in OP07, Rob Lucci, will be able to have this -3. So it's like, and I understand the people who are saying, well, wouldn't they be able to run, in my previous video talking about this, people were like, well, yeah, I think they wanted to make sure you couldn't run 8 of these effects. Okay, that does make sense, but at that rate, limit this to Navy only. You know, like limit Great Eruption to Navy only. You know, main, if your leader is Navy, draw 1 card. Then give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. That would have been fine. Because that way, you know, it would have dealt with that and you couldn't double up. Same thing with a lot of these cards. It's like they want to keep an effect like this in the game or something similar, but then they want to run it back and like, I don't even know. I don't know how to say it. Like, why print this card if you're also going to print a card like Ice Age? Like, oh, but it doesn't draw you a card. It's like, yeah, but it hits a way bigger target. Or what about a card like Tempest Kick, which does potentially draw you a card, which hits it gives like -3 cost when you have 10 cards in your trash or more. I don't know. I just don't get that. Why not just limit this? Why not just restrict this to the leader? That's just me again. And then reject. Like I said, I understand this one. I get it. I have a bigger problem with characters triggering into play, and I will probably dedicate an entire video to that in the future. But I understand them banning this card. It makes sense. This was I think they pulled the trigger a little too early on something like this. Like maybe if Yellow was really struggling in the meta or in the format, then I could see a card like this being printed. But it's not struggling. So yeah. All right, well, that's it, guys. Again, this is coming out June 21st for us in the West. We got some confirmation now. We got some logic behind it, even if we don't agree with the logic. You know, it is what it is. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys. Peace.